Susan Boyle is one of the biggest success stories in talent show history.
My name is Susan Boyle. I'm nearly 48, currently unemployed but still looking, and I'm going to sing for you on Britain's Got Talent today.
At 63, Susan Boyle has finally opened up about what really happened. Her path to fame started with a breathtaking audition on Britain's Got Talent, where her voice amazed millions. Despite earning over $45 million and winning America's Got Talent, the champions, she decided to leave the limelight for a quieter life. But what led her to make such a surprising decision? We will reveal the shocking truth behind Susan Boyle's sudden retreat from fame. Susan Boyle's humble start in Scotland. Susan Boyle is a shining example that we should never judge based on how someone looks. Born on the 1st of April in 1961 in Blackburn, Scotland, she was the last child in a large family of 11 kids. Her father, Patrick Boyle, worked in the mines but loved to sing, and her mother, Bridget Boyle, was a shorthand typist. They lived in a simple house in West Lothian, Scotland, where Susan still lives today. Before we delve into this, there's a truth about Susan's life that's even more surprising than anyone ever expected. And this revelation will leave you speechless. From a young age, Susan found comfort and happiness in music, especially when she struggled with schoolwork. She often felt out of place and had a hard time in school, but singing brought her joy.
Blackburn near Bathgate, West Lothian. Currently unemployed but still looking. I've been a carer for my mother though for 2 years, and I'm going to sing for you on Britain's Got Talent today.
She sang in her church choir and entered local singing contests. Her mother noticed Susan's love for music and encouraged her to try out for Britain's Got Talent. Even though she was unsure at first, due to her age when the show first aired in 2004, Susan decided to audition in 2008 after her mother passed away in 2007, taking a bold step by auditioning in Glasgow. Her performance of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables amazed everyone in the room, earning her applause and a standing ovation, and it completely changed her life. Her emotional singing challenged how people first saw her, based on her simple looks and modest background, winning over even celebrities like Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. Her audition video quickly became one of the most viewed on YouTube at that time. However, her road wasn't smooth. Although she didn't win the contest, finishing second, her career exploded. Susan went on tour with the other contestants and soon started working on her first album. When it was released in November 2009, it broke records as the fastest-selling debut album by a female artist globally, selling over 2 million copies in just the first week. Susan's story to fame was full of obstacles. As the youngest child in a big family, she had a tough start with some health issues right after birth, including a short period without enough oxygen, which led to learning disabilities.
Britain's Got Talent. You can tell that even the judges, including Simon Cowell, didn't expect much when she took the stage. Here it is.
School was a tough environment for her. She was bullied relentlessly by her peers and even some teachers, which deeply affected her education and childhood. They even gave her the nickname Susie Simple, making her school years very difficult. But appearing on Britain's Got Talent was more than just a competition for Susan. It was her moment to silence those who doubted her. Her performance turned into a powerful message to those who had underestimated her, and her song You'll See became a symbol of her strength and success. In 2011, Susan opened up about a difficult part of her childhood, talking about her struggles with epilepsy and an undiagnosed learning disorder. While her conditions were identified by doctors, her family and teachers found it hard to manage her epilepsy effectively, which made her challenges even worse. It's worth noting that epilepsy is quite common among artists, with famous people like Sir Elton John and Neil Young also dealing with it. For Susan, the lack of proper care significantly worsened her condition. During her school years, her seizures were often made fun of by her classmates, and she got little support at home. Her father would dismissively call her touchy when she sought help, increasing her feelings of isolation. Despite these difficulties, Susan found solace in singing at local venues, which remained her only outlet for her musical dreams until a personal tragedy inspired her to pursue what seemed unreachable. Raised with values of forgiveness and modesty, she led a simple life and famously mentioned during her Britain's Got Talent audition that she had never been kissed, reflecting her values and lifestyle. After her father passed away, Susan had to look after her aging mother by herself, as her siblings had moved away. Her cat, Pebbles, who was 10 years old at the time, became her constant companion. Even after gaining fame and wealth, she chose to stay in her childhood home, cherishing the simplicity of her earlier days. Following her mother Bridget's passing, Susan withdrew from the world for days, staying away from people. Just when Susan thought things were getting better, life brought new changes that would shape her path again. Susan Boyle's life before fame. Susan's life continued in a quiet and dedicated way. A committed Roman Catholic, she remained active in her church choir and volunteered visiting the elderly in her community. Before her rise to fame, she described her life as ordinary and routine during a 2010 interview on The Oprah Winfrey Show. In a 2013 interview with the BBC, she shared her diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, adding more depth to her complex personal story. In a November 2012 interview, when asked about online dating, Susan humorously reflected on the potential risks of such adventures. By July 2013, she openly supported the Better Together campaign for the 2014 Scottish independence referendum, expressing pride in her Scottish heritage but making it clear she was not a nationalist and preferred staying united. Furthermore, Susan maintains a sober lifestyle and manages type 2 diabetes, diagnosed in June 2013. Her life story is a tale of endurance and optimism as she navigates through personal and health challenges with determination and a positive outlook. As this phase of her life wrapped up, more significant challenges awaited her.
And then she couldn't answer my questions and the audience were bored. And I remember mentally thinking, this is going to take 5 seconds.
In November 2014, it was announced that Susan Boyle was in a romantic relationship with a man she referred to as her first boyfriend, surprising her fans due to their similar ages. Fast forward to 2022, when Susan faced a significant health scare. She had a minor stroke. She talked openly about this incident in June 2023, following a performance on Britain's Got Talent, sparking renewed interest in her choice to stay in her childhood home despite her global fame and success. Susan Boyle's life story is a powerful example of unexpected change. Starting from a simple background, she was often overlooked because of her plain looks and reserved behavior. But everything changed when she appeared on Britain's Got Talent. Her amazing voice during the audition silenced the doubters and completely turned her life around. The difference between her past troubles with bullying and the massive applause she received on stage was remarkable. Her audition video quickly went viral, racking up over 100 million views in just a week, and even her earlier performance of Cry Me a River from 1999 gained newfound fame online. However, this wasn't her toughest challenge. Throughout the contest, Susan faced health problems and exhaustion, but remained unwavering. Though she didn't win, coming in second to the dance group Diversity, the real victory was her bravery in performing. Her heartfelt performances and determination inspired many, including leaders, to rethink the importance of pursuing dreams at any age. Her debut album, I Dreamed a Dream, released in November 2009, was a huge hit. It shattered sales records, becoming one of the fastest-selling debut albums by a female artist, and sold over 2 million copies worldwide in its first week. In the UK, it became the most pre-ordered album on Amazon ever, and was later named the world's best-selling album of the year, with Billboard recognizing its record-breaking first-week sales, a feat not seen since the early 90s. But Susan's accomplishments didn't stop there. Following her debut, she earned several Guinness World Records, including for the fastest-selling debut album by a female artist and the highest first-week sales. She also became the oldest person to debut at #1 in the UK. Her powerful voice and personal story resonated deeply in the United States, where she was warmly received on programs like America's Got Talent. The days of being underestimated were over for Susan. She fully embraced her newfound fame, enjoying every moment of her success. Following the triumph of I Dreamed a Dream, she released several more albums. The Gift in 2010, Someone to Watch Over Me in 2011, Standing Ovation, The Greatest Songs from the Stage in 2012, Hope in 2014, and A Wonderful World in 2016. After reaching success, it seemed like Susan's life would calm down, but the next challenges would test her in new ways. Susan Boyle's fight for success. Despite her international success, Susan stayed true to her roots. She continued living in her childhood home, a decision that speaks volumes about her character. While she could have chosen to live anywhere, she chose to stay connected to her past, valuing the simplicity and comfort of her upbringing. This decision reflects her deep connection to her roots and her appreciation for a straightforward life. After dedicating many years to her music career, Susan Boyle decided to take a break. As she got older and faced health issues, she realized the importance of focusing on her well-being rather than her career. This decision led to much speculation among her fans, with many wondering if she had retired from music. However, in an exciting turn, Susan returned in 2019 with a new album titled 10, marking 10 years of her remarkable contributions to music. This album featured some of her most beloved songs and demonstrated her lasting impact on the music world. Despite this achievement, her fans noticed a subtle change in her demeanor, which they attributed to her health challenges. Despite her ongoing talent, Susan chose to step back from the public eye to lead a quieter life. Susan's choice to step back from fame was about more than just escaping public attention. Her story is deeply personal and involves more than what meets the eye.
Well, how could it be? Someone who looks like this that has something to offer any of us. Can't be possible. It's like a Star Trek episode. I'm not kidding you. Watch this after she starts to sing.
She often spoke about the joy she found in creating her albums and hoped they would resonate with her audience. For those who thought they knew everything about Susan Boyle's career, a deeper look into her personal battles and victories might offer a new perspective. Her celebrity status was cemented after her appearance on Britain's Got Talent, which introduced her to global audiences. However, the relentless schedule that followed, filled with non-stop rehearsals, intense media scrutiny, and the pressure to maintain a perfect image, eventually wore her down. Despite the vast support she received, not winning the competition combined with constant media attention became difficult to manage. But the toughest times were still ahead. After the show concluded, Susan's health deteriorated to the point where she required immediate medical attention. It became public knowledge that she had suffered a significant emotional and physical breakdown. The immense pressure from her participation in the show, coupled with insufficient support during the critical final voting, overwhelmed her. Reports of confrontations with staff members highlighted the severe stress she was under. That same night, concerning behavior at her London home led her team to call the police, resulting in her admission to a mental health facility. News of her breakdown spread quickly, sparking discussions about whether reality shows like Britain's Got Talent put ratings above the well-being of their participants. It was revealed that the show's producers had overlooked Susan's mental and physical health in the lead-up to the finale, prompting debates about a potential Ofcom investigation into the show's practices. Although no formal inquiry ensued, the experience was a profound lesson for Susan, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing health alongside her career. Just when we thought we fully understood her story, a new revelation emerged.
I didn't really think I'd be in the final. In fact, I thought I'd actually be buzzed. But when I opened my mouth to sing, I won them round. This competition has shown me that anything is achievable if you really believe in it.
Shedding light on her internal struggles and resilient spirit. In 2013, a significant development in Susan Boyle's life occurred when she was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, after years of being incorrectly labeled as having brain damage due to a birth complication. This diagnosis brought both relief and sorrow, relief in finally understanding the root of her difficulties, and sorrow for the years spent under an incorrect diagnosis. This moment marked a turning point for Susan, illuminating her past challenges and starting her on a path toward proper support and understanding. Reflecting on her school days, Susan always felt like she didn't fit in, finding both academics and socializing tough, which made her feel very lonely. The diagnosis she received later in life helped her make sense of these challenges, allowing her to forgive herself and start seeing herself in a new light. During a heartfelt discussion with The Guardian, Susan talked about the hurt from being wrongly called brain damaged and hoped her story would lead to more compassion and understanding for people with neurological conditions. Even after facing so much, Susan's hardest struggles were still ahead, and she had to find strength she never knew she had. Susan Boyle's health battles. Her troubles didn't just end with that diagnosis, though. In that same year, Susan found out she had type 2 diabetes, which meant she had to change a lot about how she lived, including giving up her favorite treat, chocolate. It was hard managing her diabetes, especially while trying to understand her neurological condition better. The COVID-19 pandemic made things even harder. Being stuck at home for over 2 years to stay safe meant she couldn't continue her music career, work with others, or make any new songs, which really held back her professional growth. During this period, more personal challenges piled up. Back in 2010, after she bought a new house with the money she'd earned, she faced harassment from local troublemakers who damaged her property. This made her so uncomfortable that she decided to move back to the house where she grew up and gave the new house to her niece. Around the same time, her sister Bridie, who was a big source of emotional support, passed away from cancer at the age of 73, adding to the emotional and caregiving stress Susan was already feeling. Family tensions grew as well, particularly after Susan helped her brother Jerry save his business by giving him money, which accidentally made her other siblings feel left out. Things got even more strained when Jerry publicly accused Susan of lying about his threats to himself, which really hurt their relationship. Despite these many struggles, a significant change came when Susan had a public breakdown at Heathrow Airport in 2016, which unexpectedly led to her reconnecting with her siblings, helping to heal some old family wounds. Despite ongoing health issues, including a minor stroke in May 2022 that impacted her ability to do music, Susan bravely went back to performing. She joined the West End cast of Les Miserables and was open about her personal struggles and victories.
I promised my mother before she died that I would do something with my singing. To do well would be the fulfillment of that promise.
Susan continues to be passionate about music, though she now prefers a quieter life. Recently, she mentioned one of her biggest regrets, never having children. However, she finds joy in a private relationship with a man from America, whom she keeps anonymous but who supports her during significant moments. Through all these tough times and successes, Susan Boyle shows an incredible ability to keep going. Her story is more than just about her musical talent. It's a showcase of her ongoing strength and commitment to her values despite many difficult situations. It's a powerful example of how resilient the human spirit can be. Now let's hear what Simon Cowell has to say about Susan and her unique charm. Simon Cowell spoke about Susan Boyle's impressive rise to fame, emphasizing how she stands out from many others who become famous without much actual skill. He noted that many in show business are recognized more for their persona than their actual abilities. But Susan was different. She simply wanted to share her voice with the world. Simon clearly remembers her first audition. It had been a long day filled with performances that didn't stand out, and he was tired and not expecting much from the next performer. When Susan walked onto the stage, her initial awkwardness made him think she might just be another act to forget. The audience didn't seem too interested either, and Simon prepared himself for what he thought would be just another ordinary performance. But as soon as Susan started to sing, the mood completely changed. Her voice was so clear and strong that it immediately caught everyone's attention.
Asperger's, you just have to make people aware that sometimes you have to go at a certain pace.
Simon's initial doubts quickly turned to surprise. It was a vivid reminder that amazing talent can appear from the most unexpected people. This moment didn't just have an impact in the room, it quickly became a worldwide phenomenon. When Susan's audition was shown on TV, it instantly became a huge hit. Simon, who was in Los Angeles at the time, saw her performance everywhere on TV. She quickly went from being a relatively unknown person from a small Scottish village to a global celebrity overnight. Her voice and her story fascinated people all over the world. Reflecting on her sudden fame, Simon remembered how deeply it affected her. There were moments in New York when she seemed overwhelmed, not because she was breaking down, but because she realized how much people appreciated her, especially in the United States. Is Susan Boyle's decision to step away from the spotlight Simply a desire for privacy? Or is there something deeper that she's not telling us? Could it be linked to a health issue or a hidden truth we've yet to uncover? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.